Good evening, everyone.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice requirements have been satisfied. Meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting. Are posted in the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center and published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year. Copies of all revised additional meeting notices are sent via fax to the Record, Suburbanite, and Northern Valley Press, and are posted in the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center. For the record, we have a combined meeting tonight, which means we have a work session first. I believe we're going to stay in here and then do our public meeting following the work session, at which time public comment will be taken. So first, our first item on the agenda is the reverse energy auction. We have a presentation by Michael Stroller of Emmons.
Thank you. He keeps coming back every couple of years until he gets it right. It's because I love you guys.
Anytime somebody tells you love you, money, money, that's right. That's right.
Since when did that become a bad word?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
And I've got two more. There's a couple of no-shows here that we're supposed to get these.
Yes.
And if
You can leave one here, you can leave one there.
Just leave one here.
Yeah, we'll give them to them.
Super. Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Actually, there's 3 no-shows.
We have 3.
You have one? You can take this because Shama's gonna be,
One more, doesn't he?
no, Shama's gonna be out for 2 months, so
Yeah, we'll work it out. Everybody will get one.
no worries.
okay,
I'm sorry, Mike.
No, that's quite all right. I could actually leave this one for somebody when I leave here if they want. The only thing missing is a brochure. I just kept this for myself here for notes. But anyway, so your renewals for your electricity are coming due shortly, and actually the timing is you have your current contract expires in October. The last time we ran your auction, this will be the 3rd time now, because I was a renewal last time, so we've been doing this for a little bit. Last time we did this, we contracted your general service meters, but did not contract your street lighting. We made a recommendation that you were better off back with the utility on those meters. We returned it back and made sure that we did the right thing by you, because we weren't comfortable with the savings were too tight, and it might have changed.
Which one are we gonna watch now? We're gonna follow this one?
Okay, the first,
different-
yes, yeah, exactly, the top
Yeah,
one.
okay.
Yeah, and then we'll do the lighting meters after that, right?
Okay.
So I'm just giving you a little overview right now. So basically, we're looking to run the renewal auctions for both your general service meters and your street lighting tomorrow. The street lighting's looking good now, so things have changed over the last couple of years. So we're definitely gonna see some savings there, but on your general service meter, if you open that first analysis up, what this is known as reserve bid analysis, which is not to be confused with actual auction results. What this is indicative pricing from the suppliers. It's basically benchmark data that gives us an idea of where we expect the rates to come in. Usually, almost every time, we actually come up a little bit better once we do the live auction. They don't really play their hands out until they get into the auction process. So at bare minimum, we're looking at, on a 24-month term, $21,000 a year in savings before even going to auction, or if a 36-month term wins it, then $24,000 a year in savings. Ultimately, we're going to get all the different rates from like 12, 18, 24, 36 months. We will make a recommendation tomorrow to Jewel after the auction's over. Ultimately, it's up to you guys which way you want to go, Jewel. We'll talk to you about that, and you'll make a decision. You'll say, we might say we like the 24, and you say, you know what, I want the 36, which is fine. And you will have it at that point. We'll provide you with a complete updated analysis. It'll look just like this. It's going to reflect actual auction results.
What was the year over year we saved actual, like from the past 12 months?
I don't have that with me. I don't have that number. It was skewed this past time, and Jewel and I went over this. Everybody, not just you guys, everybody got hit with mandatory pass-throughs that you would have had with or without being on a third-party supplier. If you were with PSC&G, the capacity and transmission increases, a lot of that had to do with the rebuild of the infrastructure due to Hurricane Sandy.
Yeah.
So
The $4 billion bill.
Energy strong.
So I
Yeah.
guess let me put my question a different way.
Sure.
So over the past 12 months, did we save money actually as compared to if we were using PSE&G?
Absolutely. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we did.
Oh, absolutely.
And we don't know the number.
We just don't know the number.
Yeah, I don't have that number, because like I say, I mean, I
But
could
you
go back,
have the actual kilowatt change difference.
to change in.
The kilowatt difference between PSE&G and what we were basically having.
The rate.
The rate.
The rate.
per kilowatt.
I believe you were at 11.2, and the rate last year was, I don't know what it went, it's different for everybody. That's the, see, in PSE&G territory, what happens is every meter gets their own rate based upon your capacity transmission charges. So it works a little different than it does in JCP&L territory.
Yeah.
So for me to remember everybody's, which I would have to get some data pulled.
The reason I'm asking, because recently I did the same for my house.
Right.
And I came out with basically Inspire was the cheapest, so I moved to Inspire after that.
Right.
When you have the list, there were many other ones here in the list of energies. Are they going to be part of your reverse bidding, or this is the actual list of people that are going to be bidding?
No, there's going to be probably 14 to 18
Okay.
bidders. We just, for the sake of expediency, we just highlight the top 5 or so to get it onto one page so we don't overwhelm you with
Okay.
unnecessary numbers.
So of those 14 to 18 bidders, or vendors rather, is there a guideline that shows how much of their energy is green energy? Solar, wind, whatever, a percentage of the energy they make that comes from renewables?
I can find out, what the winner has, how much.
That was for me very important too, 80%.
Is there a way to, so let's say it's a fraction of a difference. If we wanted to pick the greener company, is that would that be a good?
I don't know if it's too late, but we might be able to get it set up so that we can offer a fixed adder option to increase your green to like 50% or 100% green, and for a slightly higher fee. I got to find out if we can do that.
I mean, I'd like to see that as an option.
We might. The auctions are for tomorrow. We might.
Right,
if we
right.
can't do it, we can postpone the auctions and for a few days if need be. It's going to be. I'd have to find out pretty early in the morning. Our headquarters is in Houston. They open an hour or later, so and our auction's set for 11 o'clock at this point. But if not, we can also look at which energy company has the highest composition of green and go and do that. And you don't have to take the lowest rate.
Yeah, of course.
So we can do.
After the fact, you can figure that out.
I'm sorry.
After the fact, you can do that.
Yes.
And that's fine, right?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Once and.
And how do you make money out of this?
We would get paid by the winning supplier if and only if you contract. They pay us by the, the actual usage. So it's already, whatever rate you get, it's already, our fees built into this.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything.
Oh, no, yeah, you never
We
have a
don't-
contract
no
with
separate
the next. Nope, no, it's already taken care of. But, yeah, so anyway, the bottom line is we run the live auction, the bidders bid in full transparency, and they can repeat bid over and over again since they see the lowest rates on the board at all times. And it's a great process. It helps strip all the margin out of the rate. Unlike a traditional sealed bid where you have, one bite at the apple and the bidders don't know what the other bidders are bidding. Here it's completely the opposite. They have transparency just like we do. The only difference being they don't see the names of the other suppliers. They see bidders A, B, C, D, E to maintain the integrity of the platform. But we will see the names, of course, and then if somebody puts a bid in and 10.6 cents, and somebody else bids 10.58, they're going to see that, and they're going to say, okay, well, I really want town to Tenafly, I'm going to go 10.57 now, and so forth. Now you're basically giving every single supplier a continuous last look until they throw their cards and they can't go any lower.
So how long does it take the total billing system?
It's set up for 5 minutes, and what happens is once you get under the 2-minute mark, anytime a new bid comes in under that 2-minute mark, it will automatically reset the clock back to 2 minutes to make sure that nobody waits till the last second, shaves 100 of a penny off, and the clock runs out like an eBay scenario.
Right.
So and this will happen repeatedly. So now, every single bid that comes in under 2 minutes, back to 2 minutes, back to 2 minutes, which is a fantastic mechanism that we
keeps
put in there.
the bidding alive.
It ensures that, we squeeze every bit of margin out of that rate. And then we've got it set up, if the papers to the left of your...
Is this a secret? What is your margin on this?
I don't know. I don't set the margin. I know we're a DCA approved vendor, so whatever it's within the parameters. I don't know exactly what that margin is, but I mean, obviously, we're doing the right thing. We have over 250 municipal accounts in New Jersey alone. So we've been named Business Member of the Year by the Conference of Mayors. We were actually named the top energy consulting firm in the country, as voted on by our peers last year.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
But the document on the left is the trigger resolutions, and this basically, all that's saying is, for each auction, it says that, if we meet or beat X rate, then Jewel is authorized to move forward and contract with it based upon that. Since we weren't allowed to do live auctions on a Monday as by DCA rules. They don't allow you to contract. They have some interesting rules.
These are examples of what's on the agenda tonight. I also wanted to just point out, I know you were asking earlier, Mark, about comparisons, but if you look at the analysis, the one that was done for electricity, you can see up at the top in the right hand, it gives the estimated annual supply costs based on PSG&G's rate.
Going forward.
Right.
Right, in other
But
words,
you
it'd
can
be-
get,
right.
but you can get, we currently are contracted with Direct Energy, so you can see that there is a significant difference.
Last contract was about $40,000, if I remember correctly. Last year our thing was 140-ish.
Yeah, the last time we did it, I did a more detailed comparison because we realized a significant savings, but we're still in that trend. We're still trending downward.
Yeah, and the market's in a good position too. So as far as where the energy markets are, so you're in good shape to go to market right now.
And we know the rates from PSC&G because they have to file the rates like 6 to 12 months in advance.
Yes, you get your 6-month tariffs.
6 months tariff, so we know the 6 months, and we project 12 months, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And that's just supply and distribution is still paid to PSC&G Direct.
Absolutely.
Maintenance and everything
Yeah,
else.
exactly. They're your
Okay.
service company. They maintain the infrastructure, deliver the power through their lines. Okay. So I guess the only thing I need to do on my end, and I'm going to find out whether or not there is time to do something and provide an additional green adder for 50 or 100%. And short of that, we can look at doing, just picking the supplier with the best level of green, or if need be, if you feel like you wanted to bump the auction a few days out or whatever, so we can go 50 or 100%. Okay. Right.
Any other questions for Mike?
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the school resource officer. And, Joint Use Committee met this afternoon with the representatives of the Board of Education. Dan, Mark, myself, and Jewel were there representing us. The Business Administrator Yaz was there, the new interim superintendent who's been around the block a few times, Dr. Gordon was there, Eileen Pleva, the vice president of the board, and Sam Bruno. I think that was about it, and Chief Chamberlain was there as well. I think we're going to move forward with a one-year term based on the numbers that we talked about the last time. And in the meantime, we've asked the chief to do whatever he can to see if we can, perhaps find a younger officer, for the future. Questions?
Since I was not here last time when you made the decision, when you say we move forward with 1 year, means that 2018, 2019, it's not now part of
It's not
the...
going to be part of the contract. I don't know
Okay.
where we're going to go in the future. We're going to hold joint use meetings every 2 months.
All right,
And
and they will be aware whatever the new prices is, and they will
they-
be responsible
One of the
for
things.
50% of
One of
it.
the things is the chief basically needs some time to put a program together.
We're in agreement.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
we're in agreement. As long, it's just 1 year,
Yeah,
they have
for 1
now
year.
warning,
Yeah.
they know what they need to do.
Administrators report. Jewel?
Oh, I came up quickly. Okay, all right, we've had our presentation by EMEX. Senior transportation for events. At our last meeting, we discussed putting together the arrangements for the recommendation to provide transportation utilizing the senior bus for both the Bergen County Senior Picnic on September 13th and also for Tenafly Community Night. And you have two outlines which basically give you the details, outline of senior transportation events. Event number 1, Bergen County Senior Picnic, and event number 2, Tenafly Community Night. This was put together in a joint meeting by myself and John Sullivan and Becky Stouffer. We reviewed it with the scheduler just to make sure that everything works from her perspective as well. Probably the first few activities at this point are already in progress in reference to the senior center having the postings for people to sign up. The week of the 14th, what we are doing is pulling together, in fact, I've actually already done it, we're putting together an announcement to the county to let them know that Tenafly will be attending and will be participating in the picnic. We're looking for our, I think we set deadline of September 18th because of the fact that there was another trip also scheduled for that same date, a theater trip. So on this Friday, we'll be checking in with Christina, the transportation scheduler, to see how many seniors have signed up thus far to ride the bus to the picnic. And we said that if there were 12 or less, then we would also reach out to the senior bus registrants. We didn't want to flood the market with requests when we know we only have 19 slots available. And let's see. Then you see the departure time, the rest with the plans, the arrangements. The driver will be Patricia Ippolito. She is already scheduled to drive, and she will remain at the event to assist Councilman Bash, who's agreed to be the leader accompanying the group. There was some questions about, identification and things of that sort, and that's where Becky's help really came in, because they do trips all the time from the senior center. And I know you've seen people on the tours with the leader has a flag, which identifies the name of the
A
group.
hat with a flag.
So we'll have two flaggers.
We're working on an appropriate flag for you, Mo.
Oh, the one with us with a,
So the driver will be also doubling as an assistant during the course of the picnic itself. We already provide for the riders bus driver contact cards, just small business cards, so that they always have the number of the bus available. Becky assured us that many of their attendees and many of their participants, they already have cell phones. So all they really need is the number, and they would know exactly who to call if they, for any reason, get separated from the group or anything of that nature, which we really don't anticipate, but just in case. I relied on people who have been to the picnic. Gloria Lane, the senior center committee chair who has attended the picnic, kind of laid out for us how people move from the parking lot into the picnic area. People are free to select the tables that they want. Main thing is we want to make sure that people understand exactly when to gather for departure and returning to the center.
Joe, are we gonna have another meeting so I know all this?
Yes, we can. We can sit down with you and go over it
Yes.
in detail.
Yes, I would
As
like
we
to.
get closer to the event. Okay, no problem. And then obviously when we come back, we'll be dropping people off. And we also agreed, because Becky also let us know that sometimes people come, they get dropped off for the event. So even if people don't get picked up initially on the bus, they will be dropped off at their homes on the bus. Anybody who needs a ride
Good.
will get a ride. Okay, so that's the picnic. And then event number 2 was the community night. That's September 19th. That's right out here on River Ridge Road. There's no cost to attend. This one is actually a little easier. Let's see. It doesn't have any impact on the regular daily service. And as you know, the use of the senior bus is restricted to Tenafly residents. So in this case, it's a little different because our target audience will be the 62 individuals who have already registered for the senior bus. And today we prepared an email that will be sent out and a letter. We have, as we indicated, about 62 people registered. In fact, that number is actually increased. It's probably about 69 now, because we get a couple more every day registering for the bus. So 28 of our registrants have email addresses that they've provided us with, so they will receive an email. The balance of the individuals will receive a flyer. It's very clear, very straightforward, advising them of the steps to take if they're interested in coming to the event. The basic content is there, but we've spiffed it up with the name of the events, giving people an idea of the things that will take place, the free food samples, entertainment, etc. And pickups will start at 4:30. The main thing is that we have set a deadline of September 11th as the deadline, because one of the things that we have to do in this instance is we actually have to map out a route. So we're giving people 3 weeks to register, and then we just want to make sure that we have adequate time to map out the route. The last return trip from River Edge Road and Tenafly Road will be at 7 p.m. Chief Chamberlain is aware of this activity, and he's agreed to work with us in terms of identifying the exact location for drop-off and pickup and turnaround. And he said that he'll make sure that we have adequate space for that. And that's basically it.
Thank you.
Just one question.
Sure.
The Tenafly Community Night, you said the target is 62, 69, whatever. What about the other people? Can we also leave a flyer at the senior center if there are additional people that want to come, even if they not register for the trips? They should be able to take advantage of this.
Well, the information about the information about community night is already displayed.
The fact about the bus.
But in terms of the bus, the intent of the bus was to assist people who don't have other forms of transportation.
Yeah.
So I mean, 69 people is a lot of people already to give priority to.
Yeah.
So we're not really looking to advertise beyond that number.
Why not?
Because it's a lot of stops.
How many does the bus hold?
The bus holds 19, but let's say 20 people from the regular people have, but there are the 10 people that are not regular riders and they want to come.
Well, keep in mind that initially, I think we could have been a little bit more flexible if we were planning to do it on a jitney basis, which was our original proposal. But that was shot down, and we were told to do door-to-door service. Even if all 69 people agreed to come, that's a lot. Because
That's a lot.
So-
that's a lot.
We-
So that is our top priority.
Will you have a sense of if 20 more people sign up beyond the 69, will you know that?
We will know by the
Cutoff date, right?
cutoff date what we have.
Can
So
you, what might make sense is maybe a week before the cutoff date.
Well, we can always
We could just
check in.
Exactly.
If
And we
it's-
revisit
If it's light, we can
Exactly,
open it
that's
up.
exactly the
Okay.
whole
And
point.
if it's light, we'll open it up.
If it's
Yeah.
light, we'll put up a
Exactly.
sign at the
Exactly.
senior
Or
center.
That's right, I mean, if we're doing door to door, it's very time consuming.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Senior Services Committee Focus Group, let's see. Oh, the Senior Services Committee is going to be doing a focus group on September 19th. It's just coincidental, it's the same day as Community Night, but that is a daytime activity which will be taking place here in Borough Hall. The group has requested funding for a transcript so that they can make sure that they can share verbatim comments and reactions with all of the committee members. We've identified funds for that purpose. Basically, tomorrow morning, we can, if you have no problem with it, we'll give the committee the go-ahead to make arrangements for their service up to that.
Up to
maximum amount,
$300.
Up to $300, right. Okay. Let's see, and the rest are just updates, just keeping you abreast of what's happening with the community development program. The county had indicated that there will probably be delays in getting out the contracts this year, and they've confirmed that. They've told us not to expect them until October. So that means that we will not be looking to do any of that work this calendar year. We talked about the transportation program. As of July 31st, we were up to 136 trips, and we just got our stats through August 11th. We're now up to 187. So, and the average number of trips per day has increased from 4 to 6. So this is what we hoped would happen. The service is really
it's
catching
very
on.
good.
Okay? And then wanted to give you a look ahead for our next meetings in September. We'll be talking about the swim club environmental assessment, municipal turf follow-up, swim club parking lot resurfacing, and the open space funding ordinance that goes with that.
What does a swim club environmental assessment entail?
If you recall, we were talking about doing a RFP for a planning study, and we were asked to
With
do...
the closed swim club?
Right, but we were asked to do just an environmental assessment. So,
I'm confused about that.
I'm going to be getting a proposal from Mazer. So I thought that you might like to review a little bit more, and it turns out that Andy has confirmed to be here for September 12th, so we figure we can, as many issues as we need to review with Andy, we can. Now, at the, I also had a follow-up question about Fister's Pond. We got their report, but we have not actually discussed that report with Andy, so I was going to add that item to
That's
the
fine.
list
And,
as well. So
Perhaps
those are...
include Peter Punzi with that? I don't know if he got that report. I don't know if
I
they know.
believe he did. In fact, they were actually a party to it, but I can find out more.
Okay.
Would you like Peter Punzi to be invited?
Yes.
Yes,
That
of
makes
course.
sense.
Can we go back for a second? Next to swim club parking lot resurfacing, you have open space funding ordinance. We did not agree to use open space funding for that. So.
Oh, we did.
Yes,
No.
we did.
We did.
We're able to use
I
open
don't
space?
remember
No,
that.
no.
It's recreation.
No,
I don't remember that at all.
Park-
I don't remember at all. We have 3 people that not
Yeah, the
related.
parking lot is considered recreation.
It's a recreation facility.
But we didn't agree to use the open space.
How do you want to pay for it?
We can use some reserves or something, but we,
There are no reserves.
There's no reserves
I
for
don't
that.
remember
Well, don't we
that
have to
ever.
budget that, we have to budget this for the coming year, right?
We can budget it for the coming year, but the problem, we want, and my notes reflect that we decided on open space, and a big part of it was the timing, because we have to do the work after school, when school is not in
Right,
session,
correct.
and when the swim club is, we talked about this
We
briefly.
talked about that today, right?
And we're looking at April 4th. We will not have a capital budget in place by April 4th.
We did agree to it. I
Did
don't-
we?
Yeah, it wasn't
No.
unanimous, but
Peter,
we did agree to
none
it.
of us remember.
agreed. I
When
would
did we,
agree to
when
that.
did we agree to that?
none
We
of
have
us
to-
remember that.
We've been talking about this
April
off and
or
on
May.
for almost like 2
I'm sorry?
years. Yeah.
Either April or May.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I would
It was
go
because
for
of,
that.
it was agreed around April or May because of the fact on if you do it as a capital expense, you have to wait until the budget's adopted, the estoppel period. So you're running into funds not being available in a normal bond ordinance until after Memorial Day. So in order to do it during
Spring
the
break.
spring break period, funds have to be
That was
We
available
why
can-
we talked about
Listen,
open
we can
space.
do it as a temporary thing till the capital budget becomes available, and then we reimburse
When you
it.
say temporary, no, you have to have the funds in hand.
What
when
I'm
you
saying, we
issue
have the
bid.
funds, but I'm
We
saying
don't
we
have the
can,
funds in hand, and we don't have authorization.
Jewel, we can basically borrow from
No, you
the...
can't.
No, we can't.
Well, you can't
All right,
make up
then-
these rules as you go along.
Okay,
Max.
we never agreed to the fact that that's gonna be part of the open space fund.
We did.
We did.
Okay,
We
so-
did, and
so-
I even talked to Bill about doing the ordinance.
I know.
And we set the timing as
Yeah,
September.
we did have the discussion.
Yeah.
What's the number off the top of your head? 150?
It's about 150 our share, right? The whole thing is 300,000.
Right, the whole thing was about $300,000.
Right,
I do
and that was one of the things that we
Yeah.
wanted
And
to
we were
have.
paying it all and then getting paid back.
Yeah, but,
Correct.
look,
Right.
neither Dan nor I,
Yeah,
nor Mark.
I'm a little confused on, so we need to have more conversation
Yeah.
about this.
I genuinely don't think we would have approved that.
Yeah, no,
This
I don't
table
think we would
was
approve
not
it.
for open space.
Open space, it's a different, completely different.
Did you pull out the old minutes, Peter?
Well, no one approved it yet
Yeah,
because there
well,
was
I'm sure
no
it was
vote on
Right.
it, so
Minutes on their committee.
it was really a discussion.
Right, and at the conclusion of this discussion, we decided to go with open space because of the timing.
Yeah.
Right, right. But obviously, you have to still have to vote, so.
All right,
you don't
so
vote, you
worst
don't
case
vote.
scenario, we do use open space. Is there a way to refund that money from our general funds back to the?
No.
You can't borrow
We had that
against it.
discussion too, that you can't borrow the
We can't
money
borrow
for
from
yourself.
ourselves. We need to read
How
our
do,
notes.
how do we replace those funds though?
Yeah, we're not gonna deplete
It's an
the fund.
expenditure.
We're not gonna deplete the
You
fund
don't.
with the parking lot
There's no way
paving.
to,
It's
The
over.
First of all,
open
it's not
space.
gonna deplete the fund. The fund has what do we have?
And that doesn't matter, it's still not a action that we believe it's,
See, you can only, here's the problem of theoretically paying it back. You can only spend the money for a permitted purpose.
Yeah.
So if you spend it for a purpose that's permitted, let's say the parking lot resurfacing, you can't take funds from our general fund and put it into open space because you can't do that. I mean,
Plus it's not for that
Oh,
purpose.
connected to this, are we canceling old ordinances?
Yes.
How much money is that? And is it
We-
already allocated?
We
It's already
reappropriated
allocated.
400 and some thousand, and then we canceled,
yeah, we can take money from
And it's
Yeah,
there.
already
but-
reallocated for
well,
this year?
yes, we reappropriated the 400 and something, and the other one, there was just another ordinance that we canceled to surplus, that was like $11,000. So,
139,000 short of what we need.
actually, we needed the reappropriated funds for a communication system for the food. That's where the funds are going,
How much was that, roughly?
about 400,000.
And when is that being spent?
Now.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
The second
All right, so we need to do
tonight?
some more homework on this one.
We need to do some homework because I don't think the council approved the open space for that.
well, you didn't approve it
You
yet
didn't
because it
approve
was,
it.
well, but I mean in concept.
Yeah.
There was no
There was a
resolution.
consensus to move forward using open space money. This is when you were doing your sanctuary city thing, and I know that you were paying attention to some of this other stuff.
Pay attention or not, I think that we are now paying attention
All right, so
right
we'll
now.
look at the minutes and we'll have the conversation on the date you picked, Julie.
Well,
That's
regardless of what the
Right.
minutes say, we still have to
We have to
officially
figure out how
approve
to
it.
fund it, of course.
And if you're not going, basically, Mark, if you're not going to use open space funds, it's not going to get done for...
Until
when- Until
2019.
spring break.
Of the following year.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't think the board is gonna like that.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure I like it either.
And so on that note, we conclude.
there is something else.
So
we
does
can-
that mean that we don't want Bill to prepare the ordinance?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I think, Bill,
yeah.
you should prepare the ordinance, and if we don't use it, we don't use it.
Because the open space
It's, yeah, it's the
is
same
for
ordinance as,
parking.
for.
That's typically-
Specifically for
Yeah, we did
recreation,
it for-
trees,
what was the
grass,
one we did it for?
not to park it too.
So just to go back to
We
that,
did
so-
for,
Or Resco Park?
Ancillary to a recreation
We did that
activity.
one.
That's why.
and
Yeah.
for.
We had this problem before,
Property
and we
up in
decided we're not
Hudson.
gonna do
Oh,
that.
okay.
Right.
Yep.
There was a grant on that too.
I remember because we couldn't do it.
There is a date over
Missed
here
that
changed,
window.
June, September 10 is 9/11 remembrance, it's September 10.
September 10th?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Sunday. And I think that we will need to discuss, have a meeting to prepare whatever we need to do for that.
What do you mean, a meeting?
We have to have, they usually have chairs and everything, microphone, we
Well,
need
you-
to,
When you have, this is your thing, when
Yeah.
you're ready with the logistics of the
Okay.
event, you speak to Jewel, Jewel will arrange for whatever you need.
that's what we're saying, okay, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Correspondence, we have two. One is a letter I received complimenting what's going on at the senior center, which is a very nice letter. We also have a request.
Even
for-
nicer, the one that you received from the sister, so.
Yeah, I think everybody that's here saw it. We got a nice letter with beautiful pictures about an outing the Franciscan sisters took to Rostock, I believe, which is a very nice place. If you haven't been there, you ought to check it out.
Peter, with your permission, there is something I would like to ask you part of the report. I thought it was still, okay. We have the funding for paving the rest of the streets, and we always say, okay, when are we gonna be doing that? And the more we move it off, the more we're gonna go into again the fall, winter.
It's done.
It's,
The rest of, we have pretty much a 640,000, and we have another like 460,000 of money left to do the rest of the streets.
no.
Do we, am I wrong?
Everything's
So
been
tell me then if
No,
I'm wrong.
everything is encumbered.
Everything's been encumbered.
It's already,
It's already
everything-
spent, done, and already spent.
Encumbered and in process.
What is mean in process, please?
There's 494,000 that's been encumbered for road program, and from ordinance 1607.
I understand it's in cover. Do we have already bids and it's already?
Yeah, it's
that's-
all done.
Yeah, okay,
It's all
all right,
done.
thank you.
Okay, we had a request for a pod extension. So what, we normally give them another 60 or 90 days, Lisette?
It depends what they need. Sometimes we've given them 6 months.
And what did they say
Their builder passed away, this is Marcello was the builder.
Yeah.
so we give them 90 days. And, if they need more, they'll come back.
They didn't ask for a specific amount, did they?
Well, we gotta give them a specific amount.
Okay.
If you want to put in the letter, if that's, let us know if you need an extension from that, that's all. Any questions on the resolutions?
Yeah. Dan, you wanna start?
Who has the question?
Are we? Oh, I would like to table letter X.
X, urge state legislature to pass common sense affordable housing rules?
Yes, sir.
What are you opposed to, affordable housing or common sense?
The wording of the wording.
Well, why do we have to table it? Why don't we discuss the wording and add that to our resolution? Whatever wording you're
Where is it?
concerned about.
It is number 288.
Find 288.
All right, and then I'll do mine.
What part of it, Dan, is bothering you?
In the last, and now therefore be resolved. The first one.
Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the borough of Tenafly calls upon the governor and the legislature of the state of New Jersey to pass common sense affordable housing rules that directs affordable housing to those locations with existing infrastructure, existing transportation networks, existing mass transit and employment opportunity. What part of that is a problem?
It's extremely vague. Extremely vague.
Well, generally speaking, these resolutions that we send as a rule on a subject matter such as this are not really more specific.
There are two issues
And
over here.
I would also think that this is, Lisette, where exactly did we got this
Clark
resolution from where?
Clark Township.
It almost sounds, Peter, like they want the affordable housing by this resolution to be built in cities only.
Exactly, and basically, they want
When you
people
read
that
it.
have, cities that have infrastructure, transportation, and it's close to employment. That's kind of Tenafly. So like moving from
No,
the
it's not.
rural areas
It's the
into,
opposite of Tenafly,
It's the opposite of Tenafly.
right? This is about existing infrastructure, mass transit.
which we have.
I think with, I'm not interpreting this, mass transit to me is more like train lines and existing.
Auto,
transit
buses
systems.
are not, I
Thus
think,
proving my point of the vagueness.
But there you go, we're having an argument about it.
okay, all right, that's not, okay.
Well, Here's what I would suggest, Dan, because I think we all agree that we'd like common sense to prevail in the subject matter. You want to take a shot at rewriting this? Since you're the one that has a problem with it. And I'm not suggesting you're wrong, I'm just suggesting that this resolution as written serves a purpose. Now, whether you feel that we could better serve the purpose by changing the wording, I have no problem with that if somebody wants to give us a change.
Sure.
We'll put it on for the next agenda. Just kind of remind him a week or so before the meeting that he's got to get it into you if you don't already have it.
Okay, so this will be different.
We're just removing it.
Dan, I think basically most of this can be left the way it is, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like you have to rewrite the whole thing.
No.
All right, I also have an issue. The O, authorized renewal of a license agreement with Wells Fargo Bank. When I drove by, and I might be wrong, but I thought basically there is a sign over there saying that this is only for the Wells Fargo Bank customers.
That's not the part we're talking about.
Which one is that?
Part of it.
We have the southern half of that lot. The northern half, which is what you're referring to,
Yeah.
is for the bank. We lease the southern half.
Yeah, okay. And I didn't see, is that a sign over there saying that's public?
I can't tell you, because I haven't checked it recently. There always is signage unless it's...
I'm sorry?
There was a sign there.
There was a sign. Can we just tailor to that to make sure there is a sign that
No,
says?
let's move it forward, and if there's not...
Wait,
not
what's
correct
I'm
signage,
confused. Let me-
we'll add
just-
signage to it.
Because I use those, I park there with the Elks
If there is a
Club.
lot, the sign that this is a public, I have no
So,
problem.
Well,
so
fine.
what
If
it is
there's
is,
not a
no,
sign,
let
we'll
me
just-
I'm very
address
familiar with the
that.
signs. There, Wells Fargo, so the lot that's by the railroad tracks
Yeah.
is open to anybody, right? I park there all the time. It's not a Wells Fargo lot.
Yeah, that
The
has.
Wells Fargo has signs at the parking stall that's for Wells Fargo
Yes.
parking. The rest of it is completely open and we use it all the time.
And
I know,
there's
is there a
signage
sign that is a public?
Yeah, that's
it's
the
a-
sign that says it's public, yeah.
Okay, then I have no
But-
problem.
but what-
Because we use it to park in there for the
Well,
Elks all the
Since you
time.
brought it up, take a look. If the
Yes.
signage is not what you think is
Yeah.
satisfactory, let us know.
Okay, and then I have no. Now, there is one question that I have on the expenses, and I got the.
On what?
the expenses,
The
a part
bills.
of the expenses over here, so I got a lot of answers back. One of the questions I had, we had a payment to a tree company to remove trees, borough property. What was the emergency that we have to hire outside people to remove trees? We
Well,
thought,
Councilman Borzalato asked that same question a week ago, or last meeting, and got an answer to that.
it's possible that he asked.
Okay. We were down like 3 people. Our tree foreman was out, another tree
Yeah,
guy
but
was
what's
out.
the emergency to have,
Well-
now they back. Why did we have to, we have to
I
cut the
don't-
trees?
I don't believe you could call it an emergency, only that the work had to be done. Mark?
So just, okay, I went out with Bob, I didn't know you were gonna ask this question tonight.
Okay,
I went out with Bob Colbert, we went for a ride, we went up to Davis Johnson Park, and we talked over some different things. And because Tony had brought up this question, and I wanted to see exactly what was going on, and they were kind of dead or fully dead trees, and their limbs hanging over onto the pool.
on Westerveld?
No, by the DPW building.
Over by
Okay.
Grove.
By Grove, on Grove Street.
You-
In other words, where the DPW building is next to the pool.
Yeah.
Not the DPW building,
The
the
recycling
recycling
center.
center.
Yeah.
Recycling center is next to the pool, right on the property line there. There were dead limbs hanging from one side to the other that needed to be taken down.
Yeah.
And as the mayor said, there were several of the guys were out that week, and so we used the tree service to take that.
This was not the one that I'm talking about.
First of all, much more than 1 week. They've been out for,
Well,
out
whatever
for a long
the timing
time.
was, but that was, I don't wanna call it an emergency, but that needed to get done.
Okay, so
Well, it's a safety issue.
I specifically looked through the extent I found over here, and I got back a message over here, which, let me read it to you.
Go ahead.
It's emergency borough tree removal at 80 Westerveld Avenue. Now, I don't know what the...
That's a different.
Exactly. What's the emergency? We have to hire somebody else to cut our tree, that emergency borough tree removal, stump removal at the same location as the Westerville Avenue. I mean, I understand that we might have to, but what's the emergency to have to hire somebody else to cut those trees? I mean,
Well, once again, 80 Westervelt is probably Davis Johnson Park,
Most likely.
most likely. So I don't know if it was a safety issue or not. Have you, did you?
But it says
When you
stump
say you got a
removal.
response, who did you reply to?
I got, as you know, we got the documents on Friday. So over the weekend, I asked for, and on
Who did you
today,
ask, is what I'm asking.
I asked Susan all the
But it
finance
seems like
questions.
That
asked
was a
Susan.
dead tree, it said, didn't it say it was a dead
Right.
tree?
It
Well-
doesn't say anyhow.
I thought it was a
Right.
dead.
Well,
I
that
have
would,
it.
that would give you whatever is on the purchase order for that particular
Right,
item.
but the person that
So what
could-
I'm saying is that
The
it was
person that
from
could-
Friday to Monday, that was the only type of information I could,
Well, the person that would have a better answer is Bob Culvert.
okay.
You know, this goes right to the issue of us talking about at some point, how many people we have
Yeah,
in the DPW for trees and grass.
and we just got back the people finally. yes.
But-
Right.
And we've had this discussion, even when we're fully staffed. That doesn't necessarily mean there won't be instances where we have to use outside tree companies.
Agreed.
We do not have the same level or type of equipment. This refers specifically to a stump removal, depending.
No, it's both.
and
There was
both.
tree
It was a
and
tree and a
stump.
stump.
Tree and stump, okay,
whole
what is,
thing.
okay.
All right, well,
But depending on
Joel, maybe
what
you
the
could
job is.
ask
But
Bob.
I'll ask
Bob
about
for
this
a
one.
more
80
thorough
West
explanation.
Yeah.
Anything else?
There is nothing.
Max?
No, that's it, thank you. I got all the other answers from Susan.
Okay. All right, the only other thing I think we got is for the good of the order, and because it's for the good of the order, I asked Max if he could be relatively brief
Yeah.
and hit us with a couple of the bullet points to give you folks a background. He spent a lot of time reviewing the tree ordinance and has come up with 3 or 4 changes, and we ran them by Bob Culvert. Bob agrees with them. The reason these changes, the reason the ordinance is written the way it is because that's the way the mayor and council approved it quite some time ago. I think one of the things that created in Max's mind a need to make some changes is what we all went through at 53 Knickerbocker. And his ideas are very, very good, and it will strengthen our tree ordinance. The only thing I will tell you is, at one time we had a stronger tree ordinance, and it was residents in the town that said it's too onerous, give us a break, and so we gave them a break. So I agree with what Max is at least what you told me you're suggesting.
Yeah,
So just quickly go over
Okay,
3 or 4
so
items.
basically what we have looked over there, and the whole point was that I didn't want to create any type of hardship for the existing town residents, but at the same time, we don't want to get another clear cut like we had at 53 Knickerbocker. So in the tree ordinance that we have right now, cutting trees that are going to be in the roadway or during on the house footprint do not require mitigations. And in order to keep the same thing for the people that live in Tenafly, I kept for the existing residents, those paragraphs stay the same. They do not have to mitigate if the tree they cut is in the existing residence, if they want to expand, or in the roadway. For a new construction though, when they get a new lot and they cut all the trees, I basically made a change and said new construction now is different from existing residence, and the new constructions, basically every tree you cut, you need to mitigate because we don't want any more empty lots. I have sent, those are the basic differences. We keep the same benefits for the residents, but we make sure that
So-
new lots, new
The
constructions.
changes that he's suggesting are as follows. And what we saw going on at 53 Knickerbocker, for example, where they built a roadway, if they took trees down to build a roadway, they didn't have to mitigate for those trees because it's not part of our ordinance. So anybody taking trees down for a roadway, they have to mitigate for those trees. In addition, the rules are now, as they state, that if you're going to build a house or an extension to a house, and there's a tree in your way inside the footprint of the new construction, you don't have to mitigate for it. What Max is suggesting is a two-prong situation. If it's a resident who's lived in the house and wants to do an extension, they would not have to mitigate for a tree that they're taking down for a new part of their house.
Keeping the same existing ordinance.
Well,
for the
we're just
existing
making
people.
So
changes.
with grandfathering current residents, and it's for new construction, you tear down a house.
For new construction, in other words, if somebody has not lived in the house,
Right.
and they want to either build a new house or expand an old house, and they're taking down trees, they have to mitigate for them.
It's a good compromise.
It's a good compromise. Unintended consequences are, it's going to put a little bit more of a burden on a contractor. Contractors are making a good living in Tenafly, but they're also increasing our tax base. So you just have to keep all of these things in mind. I don't know how you folks find it, but I get complaints all the time from contractors that we're so tough and it's hard to do, but they still do business in Tenafly.
Yeah.
So I tend to think that, maybe they'd like to make a little more money, but they're still making money here. And still new construction is going on. And I think I applaud Max for what he's done. I think it's some really good improvements. And my suggestion to you folks is that we ask our borough attorney to start preparing a draft of changes to the ordinance. Bill, can you do that?
Sure. I'm looking at the, what we have was supplied with the changes, but I don't really understand. Those don't do what you said, though.
Yes, they do.
Well, Bill, do what he said.
Do the grandfather plus, right, exactly.
I'll have to call you on that one.
Call me anytime, but the idea is,
Well,
new constructions, you have new constructions, existing
I did
constructions.
sort of
ask you if
understand,
we
yeah.
could do that legally, and you said we could.
We can, yeah, I'm just reading what the changes are, and don't
Okay.
do that, but whatever.
Make sure they meet the intent.
Yeah.
The question I
I'll have
had,
to write it.
just for residential properties, how do we treat tree removals now for swimming pools?
Swimming pools don't
That
don't
require
qualify.
mitigation?
No, they don't qualify for
Mitigation.
mitigation.
I thought-
They're exempted.
The-
Swimming pools are exempted from the exemption. In other words, are
So in other words,
They mitigate.
I've lived here for 20 years, I want to build a swimming pool, I have to take down 2 trees. I would have to mitigate for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Well, that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, swimming pool
I
outside
already
the
have my swimming
15.
pool.
Okay,
No, that's fine.
all right. So we are doing now.
accepted from the exemption.
I want to bring something else for the good of the order. I send out, I asked Lizette, sorry?
This is no longer good. Too much for the good of the
Good for the, I'm sure this is very good for. I asked Lizette to distribute to everybody, basically, the letters we received, as a matter I received from Lauren, and Lauren's here, Lauren Dayton. There is a petition going on in the town right now. Basically what happened, we had the Froggy Park where we had swings for little kids. There were 3 big trees that were shading all those swings, and they were cut about 2.5 years ago. Now there is no more shade for the kids, for people to bring their
swings.
Swing, exactly. And that's basically the whole idea, was cutting the trees without replanting. And now it's coming home to roost, basically, the
Well,
problem.
it's not a matter of, there's no way we can replant a tree that's going to make up for those big trees, because you can't plant a big tree like that.
We can,
But, the
we could
point-
start something.
I haven't seen this petition yet, but what we will do is, first of all, I think we need to do a little bit of a survey of all of the parks and all of our playgrounds to see which ones have shade, which ones don't, because I'm not 100% sure that the comment that we don't have swings and shade is accurate. But yes, Mark.
So I saw a Facebook post that was shown to me yesterday, that part of the conversation is that Griffin Park has the most shade of all the parks, but that we took out baby swings.
The baby swing,
And
not the
they're gonna request, at some point it's gonna come to your desk, Mayor, they're gonna request that we put a baby swing back in Griffin Park. Is-
Or
Well,
in the-
I think what we need to do
Yeah.
is
What you just said about
is
looking at the
quantify
parks.
the need and address it. And that's what we'll do.
Yeah, but we need to do that on it can't be on a study basis that takes 4 years.
No, it's not gonna take 4 years, but on the other hand, Max, if you wanna put new swings up, it's gotta be in the budget. So I would.
I would very gladly pay for a swing, it's $400 at Costco, baby swings.
You got that in a minute?
Put it in
Max is paying for it.
I'll be very glad to do that. It's gonna, and
I got
that's
$50 for the plaque with your name on it.
I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with that too.
Are we
Okay.
talking about a separate independent baby swing?
Yeah,
Well, I think what we're talking about are swings that are appropriate for infants.
Yeah,
They
let's
used to
figure
be-
out what we
I would
have
assume
there.
Right, keep in mind, our parks are age appropriate. And Griffin
Understood.
Park is actually 2 parks. Only 1 park would qualify
Right.
for
Well,
baby
we
swing.
did have these swings in Froggy Park. My grandchildren used to use them, and it was easily noticed when those trees came down that we lost a lot of shade.
yeah.
Well, we're talking 2 different things. We're
Right.
talking shade and we're talking swings.
But they're the same
No, but
thing.
we're-
No,
That's
they're
what
not the
they think.
same
Well,
thing,
we
because
want-
if we're talking about adding swings, that's what I'm trying to
They're
clarify.
looking
Swinging,
for these swings
in the shade.
In the shade. Right now, they're only in the sun.
Exactly.
At least at Froggy
And
Park.
another thing is, when can we replant the trees in the Froggy Park? They will grow and provide the shade in time. If we don't do it, we're not gonna have it. But if we can put it back, we'll back. And
Well, we're
also,
gonna do some tree planting in the spring, make sure that there's some trees planted in Froggy Park.
and in
Appropriate.
Wheeler Park, where we cut the other trees.
Well, that's already in the works.
Yeah. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
all right. Motion to close the work session?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you folks need a break? It's only 5 of 8,
No, let's
let's
move
keep
on.
going.
Let's move on.
relatively soon. Okay, so we're going to go into our, yes.
No,
We can stay here, right? What's that?
I haven't eaten since 10.
Somebody
I
went in
skipped
the other
lunch today, too.
room.
Who's
sorry?
calling?
There's somebody out there. I've never seen him.
Mark. Absolutely.
Can you read like chicken scratch? Or
Yes, I can read it.
didn't see it, I see it.
We're right here. Nobody's in there. Okay. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. Meeting dates for the year confirmed at the annual meeting are posted on the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center and published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year. Copies of all revised or additional meeting notices are sent via fax to the record, Suburbanite, and Northern Valley Press, and are posted in the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center. Salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bash?
Here.
Councilmember Park?
Here.
Councilmember Zena?
Here.
Mayor Rustin?
Here. I'll entertain a motion to approve the following sets of minutes. July 17th, the work session, the regular meeting, and the closed session. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Revisions to the agenda?
Yes, we're removing item X, or paragraph lettered X from the consent agenda.
Thank you. Public comment? We'll go around the room and we'll start in this direction. and Everybody will have a chance to speak if they want. Anybody care to speak? Please. Just state your name and the street that you live on, please.
Barbara Landberg. I live on 48 Newcomb Road, Tenafly. And I'm here and I see, I made copies for everybody to have this, but I see that it's in the minutes, so it was already brought up. It's about the concealed weapons
Agenda,
reciprocity.
Yes.
Okay, so people already know about that?
We're going to approve that tonight.
Oh, excellent, okay. Because New Jersey has good, strict laws about gun violence, and if this gets passed,
It will
things
delay-
are gonna be very
diminish.
lax, and people can come from other states where it's easy to get gun passes and come here. And it's gonna make our schools very unsafe and whole communities. So
Great.
It's very important for the health.
Thank you.
Hopefully they'll listen to us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'll close public comment. We'll move on and motion to approve the consent agenda, please, as amended.
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second,
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Bash?
Yes.
Councilmember Park?
yes.
Councilmember Zan?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do our public hearing now.
Ordinance number 17-14, the following ordinance published herewith was first read by title only on July 17, 2017, and posted on the bulletin board of the lobby of the municipal center. Ordinance number 17-14, an ordinance reappropriating $412,879.34 proceeds of obligations not needed for their original purposes in order to provide for other purposes in and by the Borough of Tenafly.
Public comment on this ordinance, please. I'll entertain a motion. Would somebody like to make a motion? Thank you, Dan.
I move to pass and adopt on second and final reading ordinance 17-14, that notice of same shall be published according to law.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Bash?
Yes.
Councilmember Park?
Yes.
Councilmember Zan?
Yes.
Committee reports. Dan, do you have anything?
I do not. Oh, no, I do. Environmental, the green team had the cleanup at the train tracks.
This was yesterday, or?
No, last Saturday.
Okay. And what
Yes,
section of the
last
train
Saturday.
tracks
We
did they do?
started from Stop and Shop all the way down to the Clinton Inn. We filled about 28 garbage bags of random things, some disgusting things.
That's a lot of garbage bags.
It was a lot of garbage. About 20 people showed up, some kids and their parents, some members of the green team, and we were there for about 3 hours, and it was good. So hopefully, the green team makes $300 out of it from the Clean Communities grant.
Nice.
So we should be seeing that soon.
Nice.
That's good. Do you have anything to do with the community garden?
I'm liaison for the green team.
How's that going?
Oh, good.
It looks great.
Yeah, they're enthusiastic. Very enthusiastic.
Is it the environmental or the green team?
Green team.
Okay, that's different than the environmental.
Yes.
We were talking about those plastic bags. That's not you.
That is me. Environmental.
Environmental. Any news on that one?
Not that I've heard.
Okay.
Not yet.
Mark, you have anything?
Chamber of Commerce, the Tenafly Art Show is next week. The posters were created by all the kids from the Reckies camp, and they're going to be in the chamber businesses. Reminding everyone in Highland Park, Wednesdays in August from 6 to 8 p.m. There's jazz dancing.
Mark, where is the art show going to be?
Where's the art? It's in the businesses,
Oh,
right downtown.
Yes.
Yeah, in the businesses
so in
downtown.
other words, there's pieces of art in various businesses.
In the windows. That's correct.
And when is this?
That is next week.
I'm
Through the April.
asking because not only don't I know, but maybe the rest of the residents that are watching may not know either.
Glad I brought it up then.
I'm glad you brought it up also.
And then October 4th, the Chamber is having a networking event at Axia from 6:30 to 7:30.
I know Christine is a president of the chamber. I did notice Saturday when I was in Miller's Bakery, there were some beautiful paintings, but most of them were from people out of town.
Yes.
So this art show is not just from Tenafly kids.
This art show is, we take pictures, the chamber takes pictures of the historic businesses in Tenafly. We create block prints out of them and we gave them to Reckies Camp to color them. And the elementary school kids color them. They're very colorful generally. We've done the train station. This year we added the Zest and Cookteak buildings that have just recently received historic preservation plaque. We've got the Methodist Church. We have the corner of Washington and Railroad where Mint is. That we have a photograph from around 1917 of that corner that they've colored.
Are these paintings or pictures up yet? Because
No, they go up every year.
No,
but
but
they're
are
going
they
up
up
next week.
So they're not up yet. So what I saw in the bakery, Has
That's
nothing
a
to do with
different,
this.
that's a different town.
Okay.
These are just
Well, it's 10.
11 by 17 pictures of buildings in Tenafly that elementary school kids have colored. There's some up at Healthways.
Is that it, Mark?
That's it.
Max, you have anything?
Yes, the Senior Citizens Services Committee met. Most of the actions have been reported by Julie in her report. We discussed the senior picnic, we discussed the actual community night. There were some issues that were in closed session, and we basically are now looking to coordinate. It's like 90 days after the starting of the van to review the policy for the van, and that discussion should start very shortly.
Okay, thank you. By the way, just want to report the concerts are going well. We had a tremendous crowd last Tuesday night for Guthrie Brothers that did Simon and Garfunkel and the Everly Brothers. And Thursday night we had another concert. It was the second Thursday of the year that we were actually outside because of the miserable weather we've had. And I would recommend to anybody here that every Tuesday and Thursday we have a concert. Tomorrow night we have an a cappella group, a party of 5. They're very good. They've been here before. And then Thursday night we have a very young pianist who will, I'm sure, be very spectacular. Anybody have any further old or new business? No? Then if that, I'll ask you to read the closed session motion, and want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And have a safe trip home.
Are we adding that Bridgewater, Atlantic County?
Yes, please.
Resolved in compliance with NJSA 10:4-12, Mayor and Council. Going to close executive session, discuss the following matters. We have 3 personnel matters, the first being an update on senior services. Second is an update on DPW works, and third is a finance department update, and we're going to talk about a legal matter potentially involving the PBA, and that's arising out of the recent Supreme Court decision on the Atlantic County and Bridgewater PBA cases.
Motion to go into closed?
Well, Vince, we're taking the meeting and release the public time matters resolved after this closed executive session. Mayor and Council reconvene in the Richard D. Wilson Committee Room to adjourn this public meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Third.
Yes.
Thank you.